60s. He would never have dreamed that his granddaughter would eventually be stood on this platform as the first person of colour to represent Sheffield. So it's an honour for me and it's a privilege, but I've never felt more sad as to how we got to this place where my grandfather, my father, stood and marched against the National Front in the 60s, 70s and 80s, and that we would be in 2024 fighting against the equivalent of the National Front, the likes of these thugs, these violent criminals, these racists, who come into our cities, who travel into our cities to cause problems. But I have never been prouder of Sheffield, because we demonstrated this last week that we will not stand for racism. We will not stand for Islamophobia. And we have come together, united, to say this is not who we are. We are better than this. We are united, we celebrate our diversity, we are proud of the people who make up Sheffield, who come from all parts of the world. This is the real Sheffield. But we didn't just end up here by accident. As you said, the previous speaker, we have got to this position because people feel emboldened to talk in the way that they have. That they think it's okay to blame migrants, to blame people who look like me, anybody who looks different, for the ills of society. Migrants have contributed to the country that we live in. They have contributed to the NHS. They have rebuilt our city, working in the steel industry. They have worked in our schools, our hospitals, our doctors. There's the likes of Boris Johnson, Suella Braverman, people who have used the hostile environment to scapegoat people, so that we're not looking at them, we're instead encouraging people to blame each other, rather than the people who make the decisions against people who need that support. So rather than talking about better jobs, more investment in the NHS, they want people to believe that the ills of society are to be blamed on migrants. This is not where we should be pointing the finger. The hostile environment and everything that has led to this position is what we have to challenge. And as Maxine said, I have many red lines, but I will never accept where we have come to today, and I will call it out for what it is: racism and Islamophobia. And I will use my platform to bring people together, not divide communities. I will use my platform to try and push against this racist right-wing ideology, which is not just led by people who lead our country, but with the right-wing media as well. We have got to do more. We have got to be better than this. And the week in which we have seen people come together has shown that actually people have had enough. We have got to stop division and blaming people and instead recognise that our diversity is our strength. So in this last week, when it has felt really hostile, you know, at times I've not wanted to leave the house because I've thought about my own personal safety as well. You know, my mother, the other day on Wednesday, when we were worried about who would come into the city centre, had to think about, is it safe for her to come into town? This shouldn't be the case. This should not be, you know, how we make people feel. So at the end of the day, we have got to do better, and I've just been encouraged to finish now. So I'm proud of Sheffield, proud to represent Sheffield, and thank you very much for turning out in your big numbers. Thank you.